We going? Is it going? Yay. Okay, hi. Sorry, I almost forgot to start this on time because I got really distracted reading about how John Scott got called from the AHL to the NHL the last week of regular season because the Canadians are not going to the playoffs. Sorry, a bit of hockey fanning right there. I have become kind of obsessed with the plight of John Scott in the last 6 months, and it's really a problem. Okay, anyway, hi, we're not talking about hockey tonight. We're talking about Once Upon a Time, and this is episode 16 of season 5. How are you guys doing? I hope you all had a good week. Better week than me, less stressful week than me, let's put it like that. It's been a bit of it's school. School is happening. So just making sure everything is up and running. Got that, got my script, got this, is not crashed yet. I'm so concerned that it crashed one time, and I'm going to be paranoid about that for a while until I figure out how do I make videos? I don't know. Okay, so this week I'm a little conflicted. You all, anybody who watches these videos, if you're a regular, then you are very well acquainted with my dislike of Zelena. And it's not that I've grown to like her over the course of one episode, because that would be like a miracle in and of itself. And, you know, I could send a fruit basket to Adam and Eddie for managing to turn my opinion around completely on a character in the span of one episode. But I'm more invested in this weird, psychopathic, crazy, weird power couple, evil, true love romance. I mean, it's me, so you shouldn't be surprised that I'm kind of here more for the romance than anything else, but I'm still just like, I don't like you. Why am I suddenly really invested in how this goes? So I'm confused and I'm conflicted, and hopefully you guys can help me like talk through some of these feelings that I'm having, because it's an interesting day. I just like at first it was weird, like it was really strange, and now I'm just like, okay, Hades is doing all the right things, so I'm so confused and conflicted about this weird thing, and I was not expecting to. I was trying to find like some stuff to like this episode, and I did find things, and I'm pleasantly surprised by that. But I'm still just like, I don't understand. I'm confused at how much I care about this, and I shouldn't. So yeah, hello, hi. Yeah, there's conflicting emotions happening. I hope next week is better for me too. This coming week should be pretty good, since I don't have to schedule my next 2 semesters worth of classes until the 11th, next Monday. So that's way better. And that's what last week was figuring out what the next 2 semesters of classes are going to be, my summer and fall classes, and yikes. Let's just leave it at that. Yikes. I'm going to be busy, and I might have to quit my job. Not fun stuff. But I'm not sure about that yet, and we're going to wait. We're going to not panic about that until it comes time to panic. So yeah, definitely things benefited from the fact that I went in going, okay, it's Zelena, so that it helped. And it helped that like Zelena is usually like a character who's very like takes up the whole screen. And Hades is also a character who just takes up the whole screen. So putting them both together, they kind of both had to pull it back just a little bit. So like that helped, I think. And it helped that they like both of them, like Bex and this guy that plays Hades. I should learn his name because I like him so much. Hades on Once Upon a Time is played by Greg German. Okay, so Greg German, I'm just gonna call him Greg. So yeah, both Bex and Greg are both like such good actors at what they're doing, at least like how they're portraying these specific characters. So like having them play off of each other, I think really helped to like grow this relationship so quickly, because like, again, this is one episode and suddenly I'm just like, okay, what's the ship name? Because I'm kind of into it. Like I don't understand. So I think just having both of these really intense energies playing off each other, that really helped to like get this so quickly and like bring this to the forefront so fast. Also, it might be because there's a redeemed villain thing going on here, and y'all know how I like my redeemed villains. So yeah, I'm having some conflict. I will say this: I was not conflict like the baby thing, like this baby. I liked Zelena more like in the flashbacks, weirdly enough, and like that's kind of when I was like expecting to dislike her the most, considering all of the moments I had to dislike her this episode. But I liked them playing off of each other, and when she just kind of had her one thing to be playing off of, and she wasn't trying to she wasn't just solely focused on this baby and like the weird stuff that was going on with the baby. Like I love Little Peanut and I want to love Little Peanut, but I'm just this baby storyline is weird. I'm kind of over it. I'm just kind of over this baby storyline. I am glad that we have like a real legitimate reason for why there's not a name for little baby Peanut. So there's that at least. And yeah, so I'm having some emotions, and I need a Judy Blume book to help me figure out what these emotions are that I'm feeling. Can I just call Judy Blume and be like, hey, can you write a book about these specific circumstances and help me understand these emotions that I'm feeling? Because that's where I'm at right now. All right, so let's pop up the script and see where we're at. We are at the very beginning, and that's not the email that I sent to myself. This is the email I sent to myself. Okay, so my first question right off the bat, because we did the whole Once Upon a Time in Oz a long time ago. How old is Zelena? Because we had the 28-year pause in time for everybody else. So Zelena, like, does time work differently in Oz? I feel like time works different. Like, was this mentioned in season 3? And I just don't remember because I haven't watched that arc in so long because I don't like it very much. I just feel like maybe Zelena should be older than she is. Because if you think about it, like, she's a couple years older than Regina anyway. And then Regina spent 28 years locked in this time lock. So I think like what the general idea is that like Regina's probably like 35-ish, give or take some. No, if Snow was 10 when she sold the secret, and that meant Regina would have been 18, so about 8 years older. So yeah, about 35, I'd say. If Snow's about the same age as Emma, maybe a little between 35 and 38. So I can't math, so 28, I have a calculator on my computer. So let's say, let's go max. So 38 plus 28 years in stasis is 66. So Zelena should definitely be like 70 years old. You look good for your age. I'm pretty sure that this means that Oz works differently in time-wise because I'm ages and stuff and things. Maybe she has a spell to make herself look younger. I don't know. Maybe she's Mother Gothel. Maybe that's where we're going to go next with this. Is Zelena is not only the Wicked Witch, but also Mother Gothel. So we have that, and there's a sad birthday cupcake. There's a recurring theme in the show of sad birthday cupcakes, or single candles on top of the sad cake that you're giving yourself for your birthday. At least, this season we had Regina and Zelena with their sad cupcakes, or their sad birthday cake of choice, be it large or small, and then Emma and Pilot, obviously. They decided to CGI the Scarecrow. That was an interesting decision. I'm going to say that they CGI'd the Scarecrow because they knew that Zelena was going to, rip his brains out, which that was a little disturbing, not going to lie. So yeah, I think they CGI'd the Scarecrow just to make it a little less like, oh, I'm just gonna like punch my hand through your skull and rip your brain out, instead of using, you know, somebody dressed up like it. I don't know why, like the costuming department is so good. I don't see why we couldn't, you know, have something like the original Wizard of Oz movie did, where there's just actually a person dressed up like a scarecrow. Maybe they couldn't find anybody skinny enough. I don't know. So we have the CGI scarecrow that's brought in by the flying monkeys, and then we have Dorothy running in, and Dorothy is wearing like, you know, a battle corset, and like she's like ready to come in and fight. And I'm like, what happened? Like, first, Dorothy grew up a lot, and second, like, and I that's another thing I want to know is like if Zelena is roughly the same age and Dorothy is now like several years older, like time must pass differently between Oz and Earth, and you know, Oz and we know Oz and the Enchanted Forest are different places, so I don't know what's going on. So Dorothy comes in and she has the silver slippers. They're not ruby, they're silver like in the original book, and she's like ready to kick ass and take name. And I again, what happened? I want to know Dorothy's story. Give me Dorothy's backstory. I liked that when Dorothy was giving her speech about how she has the most powerful weapon of all. Like, it's just kind of the camera was focused on Toto in the bag, so I'm just like, the most powerful weapon of all, your dog. Like, I know it's trying to be like this stirring speech about how she has the love of the people and that she's going to win the day because that's how things happen in storybooks, but I was just like, your dog is your most powerful weapon because your dog just was able to run up and pull the curtains down, and you were able to make your escape without doing very much of anything, actually. And I thought about this, and I was trying to remember, like, I know that a very large portion of my Wizard of Oz knowledge comes from the fanfics that Gregory Maguire, the guy who wrote Wicked. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do because that didn't open up anything. The guy who wrote the Wicked books, and yes, Gregory Maguire. Yeah, the most of my like Oz politics knowledge comes from that, and that's not canon, and I realize that. And I'm trying to like think, because I know that there was Ozma, and something happened there, and like maybe she was frozen, maybe she wasn't, maybe she was murdered. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. So like, is Dorothy supposed to be the next ruler of Oz? Because that part I don't know. Because I thought in the original books that like Ozma was still around, or Ozma was a fairy or something. Like there was an Ozma in the original books, and I don't know, because it seemed like they were trying to make a parallel of like, you know, Zelena is the evil ruler of the country, whereas Regina was also the evil ruler of the country. And then you have this spunky little brunette coming in and being like, I have the love of the people, and I'm going to beat you because of these things. And like, they're trying to parallel Dorothy against Snow. And questions. I have so many questions now about Oz, and I'm like, why do I have questions about Oz? Are we going back to Oz? I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting some answers because now they're setting them all out for me. So I don't know. I just recap for you guys, but more questions than answers at this point. Yeah, so that was a weird parallel. And at least, like, we didn't get an explanation for where Robin was last week, so, you know, I guess bully on us. But we can say that Rumpel was down in Hades' little throne room making some straw to bring Zelena down here. I wasn't really sure what was going on with that. I know where it went now, but like at the time, I'm just reading through my notes going, okay, I'm not really sure what he was doing, but he's enacting some portal and Zelena is involved somehow and blah, blah, blah. I did like at first. I thought that like it was just going to be blue. We go back to the overworld, and Belle's going in to take care of both of the babies that are with the fairies, and I liked that like Blue was just acting way shadier than usual, and I was like, this is kind of impressive for how shady it is, and that just turned out to be Zelena anyway. I was a little bit disappointed about that. And so I do want to know how she got out of Oz, because portals and reasons, I guess. I mean, if she's going to be sticking around for a little while, then I'm sure that there's going to be some explanation that comes up of, how did you get back from here? Well, it's not actually important, so I don't know. Or something will come up on Twitter in the next couple of days. I'm sure that they'll be like, oh yeah, we had that line, but it got cut, so I don't know. Yeah, so it wasn't Blue being shady, though. She was a little bit iffy, but she was doing her job of protecting the babies later. And I was really, I'm glad that this is wrong, but I was really, sitting there going, oh, please let this not be that Hades is actually the father of this baby, because I don't think I can handle, this baby storyline is so messed up as it is. I could not handle it if it turned out to be oh, Robin's not actually the father. This baby storyline is so messed up as it is that I'm just glad that they were just keeping it to the level that it's already messed up and not completely screwing it up even further, because oh my god. So so then they opened the portal up, and I was like, Val, we don't just grab other people's babies and jump into strange portals. You didn't know where that was going, so you just nab and bolt. Sweetie, we don't. I shudder to think what else could have happened. I'm sure that she was thinking oh god, this is a bad idea, but I have no other options. But Belle, you're smart, honey. Act like it. Which she did. She actually was very smart this episode. Some very other conflicting things happened, but I'm kind of glad they happened. There were a lot of people who were upset about the way that it went down, but I'm glad that it happened, even if it was weird and manipulative. But I'm still just glad that it's all out in the open. But I will get to that in a little bit. And I'm going to pop over into comments because I've been going for a little while. I don't remember when the commercial breaks are, so I didn't type any commercial break notes for myself or anything. So hi, hello. There's a lot of people talking, which yay. Yeah, so so the reason that the baby isn't named, it's because Robin didn't name her because he wanted a chance to get to know her first, which is a very legitimate reason for why people don't name their babies right away. So you just kind of you just get to know her and be like, oh, you seem like Sarah, or you seem like Kimberly, or whatever. Whatever the baby's name is going to be, he wants to get to know her before he says, this is what your name is. Because sometimes, you have people have babies and they're like, oh yeah, the name is going to be this. And then they grow up and they're like, wow, you actually don't seem like somebody who is named X, Y, Z. Even though names are just names, they don't really, whatever. You can change it later if you want to. So yeah, the baby's name is she's not named yet because Robin wants to get to know his daughter first before he decides on a name, which probably will start with R. Yeah, the Rumbell stuff, I was also pleasantly surprised about it. I don't want Belle to forgive him. I really don't, because I think it'd be best for her if she didn't. Just in terms of her, unless Belle's going to go dark, which, I mean, there's a different take on things, I guess. Let's bring Lacey back. There's that, I guess, but just because of who she is, I don't think she would stand for it. So I don't know. But yeah, there's some stuff happening with that. But I am glad that the conversation itself happened, and the dirty laundry is all laid out. So yeah. Oz time, Camelot time, possibly, though. I know that there was some wibbly concerns about that too. I think they answered on Twitter with a timeline thing. Somebody showed a picture, one of the writers. So yeah. Yeah, there's no salvaging the timeline on the show. I'm trying, though. I really am. I'm doing my best. just for my own sanity, I need to salvage this timeline somehow, and I'm gonna make it work, damn it. So yeah, it's a hot mess. What I want them to do is like release like an omnibus of everything. Just like give me like like a whole, like the big thing that has all of the script notes and this is what we want to do and this is the timeline. Like just give me that and I'm good. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that we're supposed to assume that all the magical realms were stuck, unless like, because like, I don't know, because I guess it would just depend on like how far reaching, because like the Arendelle wasn't affected by it. They actually were just frozen for 28 years. Ha ha ha, Frozen. Ha, that's the movie name. Ha. Yeah, so I don't know, and I'm just gonna go with Oz time moves differently. I'm going to do that until somebody proves me wrong. For every single realm where it shouldn't make sense, I'm going to just say time moves differently. Yeah, I did like Dorothy's look this episode. I thought that was really good. Sensible battle armor while also being appropriately like 1940s-ish, like dress for a young lady. The comment is maybe they were like, hey, look, we've used less of the CGI budget on Hades' hair than we thought. Let's CGI their stuff. Yeah, I mean, the Scarecrow actually looked good for being a fully CGI'd character. He looked very good for the little time that he was on screen. So, like, that's fine. I'm pretty sure it was just more of a, just so we don't traumatize everybody, we're going to have a cartoon character and rip his skull out, his brain out of his skull. It's a little less traumatic than an actual human person, even though we've ripped actual hearts out of people. So I don't know, maybe brains are different than hearts in terms of trauma for children. I'm not a child psychologist, so I don't know these things. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, Tin Man I thought was like a mini series. But I do know I didn't see it, but I know what you're talking about. I don't know if she's supposed to be one of the rulers of Oz or what's going on with that, so I DK. Maybe she did go try to trip. Maybe she was trying to go around the portal to get away and tripped into it. It looked to me like it was very much a grab and barrel roll into it, so I don't know. Again, I didn't get a chance to rewatch the episode and like catch all these little tiny things. Okay, so that's good. Just double checking. Okay. Okay, so Belle and Zelena and the baby fall through the portal, and there's snow in Hell, so Hell actually froze over, at least in front of the fairy's house. That's information that I don't know what to do with, but it's there. Yeah, and Zelena broke her ankle, or she hurt it at least. I don't think it's broken because she wouldn't be running around in those heels if she had actually broken it. It's probably just sprained. So Zelena's magic isn't working, which good, until later when it's not so good, but good. And so we have this flashback that I liked, this introduction flashback, especially the line, like Hades had some great lines this episode. Who the hell am I? That question is more appropriate than you know. A+, great line. I liked that. It's good to know that there's a difference between Hades and the devil. He's said something about how people are always co-flaggating. Is that the word they use? I don't think so. People are always conflicting them. So good to know that Hades is not the devil. So we are not in hell. We're just in the highway to hell. Ha ha ha. Speaking of the highway to hell, there are regulars at the diner on the highway to hell. I skipped something. So Hades was just dropping more truth bombs on Zelena, just saying like, and nobody loves you. La 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 la. I'm gonna walk away now and be smug on things. So I just want him to stay around just to drop truth bombs on everybody forever, because I like it, and I like him that he just has no reservations whatsoever about just being an asshole. So that happens, and they're like, we're going to team up, and we're going to go defeat this Dorothy person, and that happens. there's a mini storyline this episode with Mary Margaret and David trying to get to Neil. I did like, so like, I thought at first it was kind of weird. Especially the more I thought about it, the more I was just like, oh, this is kind of weird. Why are we doing this? But then like later when Snow had the scene with Emma, when she was like, if we could have just talked to you, wouldn't that have made things so much better for you? Like, yeah, she is saying like, we're trying, it's again repeating the whole thing of like, you know, we're trying to do for your baby brother what we couldn't do for you, and like still kind of rubbing it into Emma that like she didn't get all these things, but like at least Snow's acknowledging like, yeah, so like this stuff happened and we would have done it for you if we were able to. So like, if that makes sense, I guess, like she's trying to just say like, we're trying and we would have tried for you too, we just were not able to. So that was good, and it made me dislike the little tiny side storyline a little bit less. Just because I have a lot of complicated issues with the whole parenting thing that's happening. So I skipped ahead quite a bit on that, but just a couple of tiny little details that I liked. So the blind witch is rapidly becoming like just a favorite side character, just pop up and just do things. I like that she was like, oh yeah, you can talk to him. People do it all the time. It's just a simple level 1 haunting. And I'm like, a level 1 haunting. I want to know like the levels of haunting now. Like, please give me a list of the stages of haunting. I need it to make everything in my life better. Like, I could do so much with a list of like the stages of haunting up to non-corporeal. What do they call? I have watched enough ghost hunting shows that I should know what the term is for when you see like an actual human figure. I have failed everything. I have failed in being a completely unironic fan of terrible ghost hunting shows. The more terrible, the better. I don't remember what the name is. Anyway. So I'm sure that is the last stage of like, you know, whatever the levels of haunting is like actual physical image, not actually being solid or anything. Because if it's a haunting, then you're a ghost, because that's how words work. Sorry. So that happens and we bump back up to the loft. It turns out that Henry is just writing stuff in his sleep. So I'm interested to see if we play more with this or not. Because that's it's interesting, and I don't know how to word it other than it's interesting, and I want to know more about it so I can have more thoughts about it, because right now all we know is that like he takes a nap and then he wakes up and the pages are done. So like he's doing something, like the pen is obviously controlling him somehow, which again, maybe we should leave the pen in the underworld. I don't know. Because then, like, why doesn't the pen just record stuff itself? Why does it need a person to hold it if it's capable of being like, here, I'm going to put myself in the boy's hand and make the hand do the writing and the drawing while he's asleep? Like, does it just need something to stay upright? Because otherwise the pen is a completely sentient object. And then I have more questions. So many questions and not enough answers. I liked the scene where everybody was just kind of critiquing it. I thought it was a very nice meta moment, a little bit of Adam and Eddie sticking in and being like, oh, so you all know what you're talking about now when you're bitching about these things that are happening. Like, you're all writers now, really? So I thought that was a nice meta moment, and I liked that Emma was like, and we have a teenager now. Great, because Henry's being a little bit angsty and teenagery. And I just liked that, like, so, teen moms are just being like, oh my gosh, we have a son that's being a teenager and we don't know how to handle this. Meanwhile, like, Robin is just sitting there like smiling and trying to be like, this is what I'm gonna have to deal with and I don't want to. And like Killian's just in the background just smirking like, oh, I'm so glad I'm not 13 years old anymore. So I just wanted like Regina or Emma to be like, okay, you two have been 13-year-old boys. We haven't. So you two go talk to him and figure out how to deal with this, because we're out. We're tagging out on this one. So yeah, team dads can go take care of that while team moms have some wine. I don't know. It's just funny to me. I love when there's like these I love the little family moments. I love when they get to have like these moments of like, oh yeah, there are like two moms and now there's these two dad figures, and like the dads have not exactly gotten to have too much of something. Like Henry and Robin had that little mission a couple episodes ago. Meanwhile, like I'm still kind of like waiting for Henry and Killian to have a little moment. Like they'd had some moments in the past, obviously, but like since they found him, I'm kind of wondering if some of this teenage angsty stuff isn't also the result of like, you know, he died, like, because he talked about it last episode, about how Killian died and he couldn't do anything about it. So like there's some unresolved issues there. So please talk about them on screen because I need it. Thank you. Yeah, so that happened. And then there was no, there wasn't a flashback, because that's when Zelena showed up to the apartment and everyone was like, oh, Zelena, what are you doing here? Which I did like. I kind of liked that, like, the first assumption was that they're dead, because, like, obviously how else are they going to get here? For both Belle and for Zelena. So, like, at least they acknowledge, like, oh, are you dead, or is something else going on? So that happened. Then we had another flashback to... Oh, so this was I didn't take too many notes on this because the scene went on for a little while. With Zelena and Hades, when Hades was like, no, seriously, I was like on being truthful about helping you out on this stuff. And so we're just kind of ignoring the fact that Poseidon exists. We're just focusing on the rivalry between Hades and Zeus. And I'm kind of confused on some of the wording of this. The way that he worded it, it felt like he was saying that, like, he doesn't, like, his heart's been frozen, or his heart's dead or something like that. He can't feel any positive emotions. He's only really feeling anger. So I'm kind of wondering, like, the way he phrased it, I'm like, are you a mortal or are you a god? Because, like, he's saying that he's cursed, and then if he, you know, only a what was it? Did I write the line down? Only the kiss of true love can revive a dead heart or something like that. So, like, is he cursed? Is he mortal? Is he actually a god? Like I don't. The wording is weird to me, and maybe it's just because I'm overthinking this. Which, hello, have you met me before? So I'm concerned and a little conflicted about, like, the implications of it. And I know I'm overthinking this again. We did this last week with the whole, like, does somebody have a corporeal form within the underworld? And, like, so I'm overthinking things as per usual. So I don't know, I guess, about stuff and things. So I'm just confused. The way it was worded was weird, and I probably would have worded it differently just to make me less concerned about whether or not Hades is mortal or immortal or what's going on, because I'm gonna give myself a headache, and I'm already feeling dizzy today, so we're not gonna think about that anymore. So we have this little hint towards Zelena and Hades being true love. So all those interview hints about, like, the true love kiss of the season being from a couple that's very unexpected, I'm gonna put my money on this. This very weird, out of nowhere. I'm just gonna say that this is probably going to be the true love kiss of this episode, of this season, that nobody was expecting, because it's looking like that so far. Because otherwise, you know, if we're ticking off, like, the couples that are true love that haven't had true love's kiss, I think we're down to, you know, Outlaw Queen didn't have one. Right? They didn't have one. No, they haven't had a true love's kiss yet. Yeah, so Outlaw Queen and Captain Swan are the only ones that would be in line next. And if they're saying, like, oh, it's a couple that's unexpected, then probably going to be leaning on this Hades and Zelena thing. So, you know. So that's going to be interesting to see play out. I'm just very confused about everything. All right, so Belle's kind of running around Underbrook trying to hide, so she finds refuge in the library, and then she runs into Rumple. So I'm going to look at comments really quickly and see what's going on here, because we're going to get into some stuff. There's some stuff. Yeah, so... all right, some Tin Man talk, and I never watched Tin Man. Yeah, this episode was really good for Hades. Hades had a really good episode this week. Yeah, Snow and David stuff was weird. I think it was just to, like, cement some stuff for Henry, I guess. I mean, I think it was just more talking about Henry stuff, or, like, giving them a reason to do that. I'm not really sure. The Henry writing stuff in his sleep, because, like, you would, like, I don't know, because I didn't think about it for long enough. Because, like, you would, like, maybe if he's doing it in his sleep, then, like, that gives him reason to be like, yeah, I have other stuff I'm doing during the daytime, so I'm not, like, constantly just writing stuff down. So he just writes down the story as it's taking place when he's otherwise not occupied doing his job, which I guess in Henry's case would be going to school. So I'm just I don't know. I would have to think about that, because it seems a bit odd that he would just be doing this in his sleep. So, yeah, so I don't really know. Oh, I love ghost shows. Like, as soon as October hits, like, I'm just like, give me all of the trashy ghost hunting shows, because that's my life. Ghost Adventures, the one with, like, I think that's the one that are just, like, I call them Ghost Bros, because it's just like a bunch of frat guys going to haunted places and, like, screaming, yo, ghost, come out and fight me. And I'm just like, oh, you're so dumb. And I'm watching this anyway because I love how dumb you are. Yeah. So, yeah, the pen is using him. Yeah, that seems very strange. The whole thing just seems really weird. I don't know. Leave the pen in the underworld, just saying. Yeah, I liked the killing just in the background, like, I'm so glad that I'm not a 13-year-old anymore, because it sucked being 13 years old. And yeah, so I thought that was funny. And Robin just sitting there like, I have 2 children and I can see this happening in the future. Yeah, it was very silly. Yeah, I would like the big crazy family thing. There was a lot of family stuff this episode that I thought was really good. Coming from Regina, surprisingly enough. Yeah, the Hades curse stuff, I don't know about that. Hades curse stuff, I don't like. I'm confused because I haven't had a chance to, like, sit down and process it, because, like, you would think that, like, Hades has other stuff, like, I don't know. Yeah, because, like, it was worded weird. I think the whole Hades thing being like, you know, specifically because he said, like, that he would be a man again if True Love's kiss broke this curse on him, and I was like, but you're a god, and that means that you're not a man, because man is mortal and God is immortal, and, like, there's a very clear division here, and I don't get it. So I'm very confused on that too. I think Triton was Ursula's dad. I can look that up really quick. Once upon a time, Ursula. Yeah, because I think it was Triton that did that. Because there's the deity. Oh, no, there's the sea witch, who was the daughter of Poseidon. But he only, I don't know, because maybe if he's only, because it just says he's the sea king, which is different than sea god. Because, like, it's specific, when I just type in Ursula on the once wiki, like, it specifically says deity and sea witch. And, like, it says that she is named after the goddess. So, like, obviously then Poseidon would not be the god, I guess. I don't know. I have a headache already today. I don't need to have this headache too. Oh, yeah. So yeah. Hi, Yasmin. The episode, I thought it was good. I thought like it was pretty good. There were some things iffy, but like I came out with surprisingly positive feelings about it. Considering that it's a Zelena centric episode. So like, yes, good. It was a good episode. So I hope that you like it when you get to see it tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, Poseidon was Ursula's dad. So I don't know. Yeah, because I think just specifically because like they make a difference between Ursula the deity and Ursula the sea witch, who was named after Ursula the deity. I don't know. This is what happens when we try to make sense of this show. So yeah, because there's not really. Yeah, because it just said King Poseidon named his daughter after the deity Ursula. It says right there on the wiki, and King Poseidon is not God Poseidon. IDK. I do my best to make sense of this show. Okay, so speaking of making sense of this show, we have the big showdown, I guess, for lack of a better word, between Belle and Rumple. Now, I saw some comments being thrown around like, well, of course this was handled insensitively because this is an insensitive show and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just sitting here like, it's a television show. It doesn't have to handle things sensitively because, like, that's not how real life works. Like, we can do our best in fiction and we can do our best in real life, but insensitive things happen. The trigger culture drives me crazy sometimes, but, like, you know, in this case, like, I can see why it happened because it needed to happen because Belle needs to, like, wake up and stop thinking that everything is sunshine and rainbows and puppy dogs. So that just bugged me. And like, it's enough to just be like, yeah, this scene was fucked up, which it was. Apologies for the swearing, but it was. It's not going to be perfect, and to expect it to be perfect, like, and to hit all of the PC things and whatever, like, that show existed. It was called Glee, and we all know how that turned out in the end. So yeah, so we have this scene, which again, I was not happy with. Like, I wasn't happy with Rumple. I felt so bad for Belle, but again, I'm so glad that this happened. So we have, you know, Belle she comes out of hiding and she's like, oh, it's Rumple. Okay. And he's like, for his first thought is, oh my God, are you dead? Because, like, why else would she be here? And so she explains about the portal and how she came down here. And he's like, oh, well, that's okay. So there were more than one person that came through the portal. So that's why it didn't work. And she's like, what are you talking about? So it kind of all comes out that Rumple is the Dark One again. Yay. And it comes out, like, he immediately spills the beans about, like, you know, I'm the Dark One, and I made this promise a long time ago, and my second-born child is going to be taken. And she's like, well, you're not going to have one. He's like, you're pregnant, surprise. And so she's at first really happy because this is the love of her life and they're going to have a child together. And of course she's going to be ecstatic about that. But then she realizes the implications of it because Mel is smart. I'm glad when they write her smart because they do that sometimes. And she's pissed, which understandably so. I'm glad that she's mad about this. Like, she doesn't, like, this is, like, I was kind of worried that this is going to be something that, again, was dragged out, and I hate it when they drag out stuff like this, particularly, like, stuff that's kind of dumb like this, like, just dumb miscommunication stuff, like, that's something, like, it's a plot device that I hate, and they're doing a really good job of not having that this season so far, or at least this half of the season, so, like, yay, thank you for that. And, like, Rumple's just, like, So I love you and I love power. And you can't have one or the other, you get both. And like, he admits right up front that like, this is who I am. I've always craved this power. Now, whether or not they're gonna like go back on this later and like double back and be like, just kidding, it's because he has all of the darkness ever inside of him and he's not himself, that is entirely open to interpretation for later. I could see that happening. I might not be too happy about it, but you know, again, I'm not a writer on the show, so my opinion matters significantly less because I'm not the one telling the story. But like, at least he just came out and said it, and it was like, this is who I am, and you can't have one without the other. And she's understandably upset about this because she's like, no, because you said this and this happened, and like, you know, she's like, not, he's trying to layer on all of this manipulation stuff on her, which was like, again, not great. But she's not having any of it. Like, she realizes what he's doing and she's like, I'm not making any decisions right now. Like, you're going to fix this because you're the one that screwed this up. And then bye. Like, and then after that, well, you know, you're going to figure out how to fix this, and after that I'll make my decision then, but like, I can't make a decision right now. So like, yay, that happened. It's, again, it's a very traumatic scene. It's a very emotionally manipulative scene, but all the cards are out on the table now. So like, I can only be happy that they are not dragging out this miscommunication thing forever and like not keeping Belle in the dark. And now she's here in the underworld and she can, you know, help everybody get down. But I'm wondering now if her name is going to be put on a tombstone, because like, if like they're, you know, Hades is trying to just trick everybody and be like, so you're going to do what I say. So if Rumple starts to be like, well, maybe I'm not going to do what you're going to say, he's like, well, your wife's name is not on his tombstone. So I'm going to be very interested to see if that works. And I lost the second thing I have to play with. Dang it. So yeah, very awful scene, but also a very good scene because things needed to be said. Recognize that this is how stories work and how stories move along. So you can be unhappy with it happening in the first place, but recognize that it needed to. So yay, good things and bad things. Oh, I just made a note. I don't know how many other people went from that scene basically straight into that University of Phoenix, and I also have a brain commercial, but my broadcasting network did, and I hate that commercial. And it was an extended version of that commercial, and I hate it so much. I hate that commercial so much. I don't like it. I hate it. I think it's annoying. I think it's dumb. Like it said, it's a good message, great, but it's annoying and it's dumb. So, what next? So that's commercial break. So I'm gonna pop over back into comments. OMG. Where was I then? So yeah, if Hades isn't a god, then Poseidon would be there. But like, they said specifically that Zeus is a god, and like Zeus is ruling up on Mount Olympus, and so I'm very confused about all of this. So maybe in mythology, Poseidon was the king of the sea and a god because that is the kingdom of his father, that their father gave him, same as Hades getting the underworld. So maybe that's what they're going for, but it specifically says king and not god. So until we figure that out, then I don't know. Yes, the scene between Rumple and Belle is super interesting and also very messed up. Yes. Yeah, it was good because, again, we laid all the cards on the table. Like, Rumple isn't hiding anything anymore. He, like, kind of has everything to lose because, like, there's his family. Like, he's, like, saying, you know, if you take me as I am, then we can still have all of these good things. But I'm also the Dark One. So, like, you know, you have to accept that. And she's like, I don't have to do anything. And, like, I'm glad that she said, basically, like, I don't have to do anything. I have to get out of here. So, like, you fix this and then we'll talk. So that's good. but yeah, it's really messed up. And like, again, I don't want to say like this is one of those moments that I'm just like, you know, when they're good, because like this was a good scene. Like not in like a romantic sense, but just like in the sense of like it was a good communicative scene, and it was a good way of just like good in showing how bad things are, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Just like laying it all out on the table, like this is what's happening. Like take it or leave it. So yeah, I don't know. I'm very interested to see like where Belle goes forward on this. She's now back with the group, so she'll be kind of lingering behind some stuff to hide Emily's pregnant belly. So I'm interested to see like how the finale works out, because they didn't start filming the finale until after Emily had her baby. So like she's gonna go from being pregnant to not pregnant. So that's just me being very interested to see how things work out. Yeah. Yeah, as much as Rumpel makes you angry, at least put it all out there. Now she knows exactly how he feels and doesn't plan to change. Yeah, so again, it's the addiction thing talking. It's the whole like he's an addict to this magic, and like he's always going to be an addict. And that's the thing, is like you always are an addict, whether or not you act upon it is what makes you the difference between like being an addict who is, you know, struggling with it, or being an addict who is in remission, or struggling to be in remission. And right now he is actively using. So I don't know. Yeah, so like brutal honesty has its merits, and even though it hurts, like, you know, at least it's all out there. Yeah, I'm really interested in Gaston next week. I didn't get to see the full preview because we have something taping on. We have the whatever shows on at 9 o'clock on PBS was started to tape, so the DVR flipped over because our DVR is stupid. So I didn't get to see the full preview for next week, but I'm interested to see what goes on with that, and how that works. And it's kind of nice that like this big confrontation happens, and then right on the heels of it is a Belle-centric episode, because kind of would like to flesh this out a little bit more, just saying. So yeah, I'm going to have my candy because again, I'm dizzy and my head hurts today. So, oh God, yeah, just the what's her face? I know it's not what shelter commercial you're talking about. I don't remember who sings it, but the Arms of the Angels one, yeah, I hate that commercial too. Like the song is not sad enough. We also have to like superimpose like kittens that are starving and like puppies with broken legs, and like we have to do that on top of how sad the song is as it is. I think that Poseidon did call himself a god, but I don't know. I think we've been calling him a god because Poseidon, you know, to us he's a god, but whether or not he's actually a god is something else entirely. I don't know. Oh, this show, you guys. Okay, so popping back over to Totes Minutes. Okay, stupid commercial. They're in line for the hauntings, and they don't know if they're going to work. And like, that was a really sad little moment where he's like, they were talking to the guy behind them. And he's like, I don't even know if it works. I might have just been wasting my time for 30 years. And I'm like, you've been here for 30 years and you've been trying to reach somebody and you don't even know if it's working. And I'm sorry, little moments like that just kind of get me. So the haunting might not work. And then we flip over to, we're going to go find the baby. The baby is out with Belle somewhere, and this is the point where I was like, do we get to find out the baby's name? Oh my God. I'm really glad. like, as much as Zelena was rambling off, like, please tell me you didn't name her this or this or this, or like, oh God, not Marion. I was just like, there were a lot of meta moments this episode, but that might have been my favorite one because please stop naming kids after dead people. Thank you. I'm so over it. This is why I am the one person who does not want Captain Swan to name their first child after Liam. Now they can't because there's already a little brother. Ha! I'm still going to be happy about that until we figure out what's going on with Liam the second. Yeah, so nobody named their kids after dead people anymore. I'm over it. It's done. I already took babies, I know, but I'm taking away this too. And then this is the part where you find out that the baby doesn't have a name because Robin wants to know her, and he hasn't gotten a chance to because he's been running around doing stuff. And so this we have an interesting moment about family coming from Regina. And I was more interested in it because, she's giving this speech about family to her sister, and they're not treating each other like family very much. So I'm interested to see if this little hope speech kind of blossoms into anything else later on. Because I think if we're trying to bank on this whole like motherhood equals redemption thing for Zelena, like this would be the turning point episode for that actually happening. Because like she did towards the end, like say, she's doing this, like she's trying to give her, essentially she was saying that she was trying to give her baby her best chance, which has been the running motherhood theme the entire time. Like, Snow giving up Emma to the wardrobe, even though the curse was coming and like she wouldn't be able to see her for 28 years. Giving her best chance by not keeping her stuck in the curse with them. Same thing with Emma, giving Henry up, and then I know Regina did the same with Henry. I think it was when the second curse was coming, trying to give him his best chance. I think that's when it was. So now we have Zelena doing the same thing with baby Peanut. She's like, I can't protect her from Hades, so you do that. So again, if that's going to be her turning point moment, then it fits in quite nice. It slots in quite nicely with the running theme of the show of like mothers giving their children up to give them their best chance. So, Regina, like, there was a moment that I also liked as well in that Zelena was like, well, you're doing this stupid hero thing and you're down here, you came down here for a pirate, and why? And like, Zelena was just like, when family needs help, you step up, which coming from Regina is like, wow, that's a good line coming from Regina. And just that alone, like, captures so fully how much she has grown in the last couple of seasons. And I can really appreciate that coming from her. And also, on the side, like, Zelena is voicing all of the haters' opinions, and Regina is just slapping them across the face and being like, no, like, we came down here, we were not dragged down here, we came of our own volition. So, again, lots of meta happened this episode, and I'm very happy about it. So, what happened after that? Let's see, what else? What happened right after? Oh, we had a flashback. This flashback, you guys. So, Hades and Zelena are walking through the forest, and they come across the farmhouse that Dorothy arrived in. And they find this bicycle. And Hades gets on the bicycle, and he's like, this is what a bicycle is. And he's riding it around and showing off because Zelena doesn't know what a bicycle is. And then he's just like, okay, so, we'll try it. You hop on. I don't know when Hades turned into, like, a 13-year-old boy who's first discovering girls. So Zelena gets in front of him on the bike, and Hades has a little moment where I'm just like, did Hades just pop a boner? Because he did like this weird thing where he was just like, oh, like he just kind of like shifted, and like I think he kind of sucked in a breath a little bit, like, and like I was just like, is there bicycle arousal happening? Like, what is going on? This is gonna get flagged. This is gonna get flagged for 18 up. I'm sorry, but I'm just talking about what happened on a family-friendly TV show, in that the god of the underworld went on a bicycle ride with the Wicked Witch of the West sitting in front of him, and he might have been very happy about that fact, or he might have just had a banana in his pocket. I'm not sure, but it happened. This is the show that we watch every week, you guys. And there's a really cute bicycle riding scene where, like, Zelena's so happy. She's like, it's like riding a broom, but we're not flying. And I'm like, well, I mean, I guess so. And, like, it's a cute bicycle riding scene with the god of the underworld and the Wicked Witch of the West. And then, of course, they flip off the bicycle, like they run into something and they tumble over, and like he has her in his arms. He's like, I've got you. And I'm like, no, don't do cute things, because then I'm gonna like this. And this is where the conflicting feelings start. So they enchant the bike and they go off to find Dorothy, and I'm so, I don't even have words. I don't. I wanted it to go to commercial then, just so I could like stare into the distance and not pay attention for a little bit, because I just wanted to be like, did I just seriously watch this happen? Because like, and it was cute. It was weird, but it was cute. And I'm just, I don't have words for what just happened. So anyway, there's a weird family scene where they're fighting about the baby, and Regina got a hat from somewhere. I'm not really sure where this fisherman's hat came from, but Regina's wearing it. And there's a really like the world's shortest baby feeding scene. I don't know if you've ever fed a baby before, but it does not take 30 seconds. That's roughly, I'm estimating that's about how long that she was feeding that bottle to that baby. And of course, this is when Zelena gets her magic back, and she like blasts her away and is like, haha, I have the baby now, bye. And I'm like, well, nobody saw that coming. There's something about Snow wants to know when they're going home, and there's hope and stuff and things, and I wasn't really paying attention to that. Another flashback where we go back to the magical bicycle couple is riding up to where Dorothy is hanging out, I guess with the scarecrow, and Hades basically just proposes. He's like, you can do it because you're smart and you're clever and you're witty and you're beautiful, and did I mention that I love you? And I'm just like, oh gosh. This is really fast, and it's saying something for this show, and fast and speed and whatnot. That happened. So Zelena, rather, I was going to read that Hades just proposed, which he basically did, let's be real. So that's when Zelena debrains the scarecrow, and he just kind of flops over on the ground, and I'm like, is he still alive, or did she just brutally murder him and we see the body? Because usually you don't see the body on TV, or at least on this show, and there's a body there. Like, the scarecrow existed before his brains, so is he now exist? Like, is he still the scarecrow and he just doesn't have his brain anymore? I don't know. I don't know, but oh, so Zelena asks what happened to Dorothy while she was in Kansas. And then she's like, oh, wait, no, I don't care. And I'm like, no, I care, because now my interest is piqued. Like, she's all battle ready. Like, she knows what she's doing. She has this dagger, and she's, like, ready to fight. And I'm just like, I want to know, like, what post-apocalyptic thing happened in Kansas that Dorothy is now, like, ready to fight. Like, did Pride and Prejudice and zombies and farmyards happen? Like, I need to know, like, why she's ready to go, and, like, give me Dorothy's backstory. Like, I need a Dorothy episode now. And it looks like Hades abandons Zelena, and he wants to use it looked like they made it look like he wanted to use the baby in the time traveling spell, which didn't later, and I'm going to get to that in a little bit. I'm trying to speed through some things. So again, we have this writing that happens in fits that Henry doesn't remember. So, like, he's sleeping and it happens, and again, I don't understand it, and I want to, so let's not abandon this plot thread, please. Thank you. So then Hades just popped back to the castle, I guess, to create this romantic candlelight dinner for two. Because he's known them, they've known each other for like 12 hours, and he already believes that because of a bicycle ride, they are true love, because he felt a flutter in his chest. And Hades might now win out for being the most, like, romantic person for somebody who is dead, quite literally. He might win out on being the most romantic sap on the show, and that's saying something considering we have one Killian Jones. So, like, I'm conflicted and confused, and and of course, because Zelena has trust issues out the wazoo, she thinks it's a trick. And so she sends him away, and he's all pissy about it, whatever, even though he's like, no, it's true, I love you, and I've known you for 12 hours, but I love you. And I'm like, okay, calm down, Romeo. Juliet needs some space, which, actually, now thinking about it, that might be how it turns out later. Ooh. Anyway, bringing in more public domain, I guess. Public domain stories to tell. So we have... I had a little Hamilton moment, because she's like, you'll never be satisfied. So I was like, I'll never be satisfied. And that was really bad. I'm sorry. Anyway, that's like my favorite song on the Hamilton soundtrack, because that's not the Cabinet Battles, it's Satisfied. So yeah, Zelena's jealous, and she doesn't understand human emotions, like trusting people and love and everything like that, and whatnot. So we go back to the future, the present day rather, and they have, like, the way they framed this, it looked like it was going to be like Hades and Zelena having a showdown in the street because they're all braced and whatnot. And I think it's just because he had the high-necked coat that I was like, it just looked like he was like ready to go for it. He's like, ugh. No, not what happened. So they have this interesting talk, and I say it's interesting because, like, it really kind of, like, it's weird because, like, dude, she dumped you, but, like, he doesn't give up because that's not what true love does. True love doesn't give up on each other. And he really believes that they are true love. Like, that says a lot for, like, his state of mind and frame of reference and everything. Like, I have so many questions. I really want to see what happens next. I need this to be a Netflix, just give me everything at once. So he was trying to kidnap the baby for Zelena. He's trying to get the baby away from everybody else for her. Like, he was going to hang on to the baby for Zelena. Sure, that's not, like, bad or anything. Also, like, would you have then popped back over to where Zelena was and been like, here's your baby, I got her for you? Like, like, I don't know. I would have just been like, what would you like? I really want to know if he would have just, like, hung on to her and then given the baby back to Zelena after that, because and it's weird that Hades made the underworld look like Storybrooke for Zelena, because, like, wouldn't, like, I mean, I can, like, yes, obviously they're doing this because, like, budget and whatnot. Like, sure, we can't go camping in the forest all the time and, like, have the houses and whatnot. So it's just easier to keep using Steveston, whatever. But like, Storybrooke is not the first thing that I would think of when I'm like, yeah, I'm going to give the love of my life what her sister has, because like her sister has a lot. Like there's a lot that he could have worked with for Regina, but you know, whatever. It was just that it was weird, kind of messed up and weird. And there was a title drop because he's like, I can't make things grow down here. I mean, it's kind of falling apart, but I tried just for you, babe. It's kind of in decay. But it can be our decay. So sure, like we'll go with that title drop. That's fine. It's weird. And like then I just kind of got into it because I was like, you know what? He doesn't care. Like he is proving like that he's doing this for her, and he's like feeling he wants stuff for her, and he wants her to be happy, and like you can see that she wants to reciprocate. Like she wants to trust him, but she can't because of Zelena. And like it's so little, but it gave just enough of an insight into just seeing how they both function, and like how he jumps in with both feet, and like he's like ready to do whatever he needs to do what he wants to do, and how she's like, I want to feel human emotions and be a human person, but I can't do that. So and like again, like he told her when her birthday was, because she didn't know when her birthday was, and her birthday is on tax day, the most evil of all days. So yay. And he tortured the information out of Cora, which, you know, that's romantic, sure. And like there's this weird positive spin on things when he's like, I know you don't need me and you don't need anybody, but if you want me, then you know where to find me. So like, you know, there's like these weird things that he's like doing all of this for her, but then he's also saying like, you know, go be free, little bird, but you know, if you want to turn around and come back, like I'm gonna be here waiting for you. So like, you know, it's messed up and it's weird, but it's like positive at the same time. And I don't understand how to feel about this, because like these are good things to have. Like, it's good to be like, I know that you don't need me, and I don't need you to need me, and you don't need anybody, and you're you know, she's a strong, independent woman, but if you want me, like that's a good thing. Like that's something that we want to strive for, of like, you know, you don't need to have a man, but if you want to have a man, then I'm ready and willing. So like but then it's so messed up at the same time, and this is where the confusion's like really just kicking into place of like, I'm kind of rooting for this evil power couple of like, they both don't care. They just would like blast things away with the flick of their hand, and like one hand doing that and the other one they're holding hands. So I'm like, I don't know. And then we have Handsome Gaston, and that's all I have. So like, again, weird stuff is happening. So yeah, so I'm going to pop over here because that's all I've got in my notes, and I think I touched my glasses. And yep, I did, because there's a spot. So that's all of the notes that I have taken, and I probably missed some stuff because there were some things that I was like, I don't want to do that. And we had talked a little bit about Snow's little interlude about how she wanted to have her parents, or she would have done a lot to, you know, she wanted to have her whole family back together. She wanted to go back to her family, her whole family, which I think was more for Emma's benefit, which is good. I'm glad that she made sure to like note of, you know, I mean you too, just, you know, your brother's at home by himself and he's 6 months old. So yeah. Okay, so yeah. Oh, did they say Nancy? Really? I didn't catch that. I caught like, because she was naming like singles like Kristen or Stephanie or something like that, like just like perky, happy names. I think. I didn't. Did she really name Nancy? That's really funny to me. I'm so glad that happened. I want to know if like they did that because they knew about the Nancy thing that happened on Tumblr or not, because that was an adventure, and how people like actually legitimately started to get mad about it too. So yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really shocked about Zelena. I don't get it. So I don't get it. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like the comment of is I thought they, Hades and Zelena, were adorable at the same time as thinking that they're the worst idea for a relationship ever. They're two psychos that will just feed each other's craziness. But that's also kind of why they work. And I don't like it's such a bad idea, but it works. And I don't understand it. Like it shouldn't, but it does. And so like yeah, like in theory, it's a terrible idea because it is just two crazy people feeding into each other. But like they balance off the crazy with one. I don't know. And I'm kind of into seeing what happens with this next. I'm kind of into it, and it's weird that I'm kind of into it. So yeah. I would be interested to know. I did actually think of that because if Dorothy's older now, then like she would have possibly been like a Rosie the Riveter type because like I think she was like 13 or something when Wizard of Oz is supposed to happen, like 12 or 13. She was very young, maybe 14 at the most. So like by the time like I think Wizard of Oz was supposed to be like 1939. So that would have been right at the cusp of World War II rather, excuse me. I thought World War I because the books actually take place much earlier. So if we're going on the books, which we might be because the shoes were silver and not red, then like maybe World War I, and she would definitely be more older than. But if we're going on the movie, then yeah, she would be. She's like 13, 14 in 1939. Like that's the whole like Dust Bowl things. Like just kind of rambling through. So like by the end of the war would be 39. So 41, she would be like 16. So yeah, she would have been like a Rosie River type by the end of the war. So like IDK. Yeah, but yeah, I really need a Dorothy episode now. I'm very interested to find out what happened to Dorothy. Yeah, and the bike ride was shorter than the beanstalk climb by a lot. So like, hello, moves very quickly. Yeah, hello. I don't know what's going on with that. Why it's not going back enough. It's not something that since I'm not the one watching the stream, I don't know how things work on you guys' end. I just know how things work on my end, which is usually very buggy and bad. So I don't know why it's not working to go all the way back to the beginning. So yeah. That's weird. I don't know. I'm sorry that you can't go back all the way to the beginning, but it should be up on my page right after this is over. So like stick around to the end and then just kind of refresh until it's there. I can't really do anything more than that to help because I don't know. Sorry, Abby. Yeah. I don't. Yeah, the Hades idea about true love I think would be interesting, but to me it seemed to line up pretty well with what we know about it. But again, we're kind of back and forth on what true love is sometimes, but whatevs. Oh God. A baby held up to Zelena just like a boombox, like, oh, we're not gonna pull a say anything. Like, oh, I have your baby, Zelena. Like, no, don't do that. That's bad. Because then I'm just thinking, like, what if you drop it? And that's not even. I don't really want to think about how far God's magic can go to like fix broken babies when you drop them. Bad. Yeah, how that'd be a good place to raise baby because like, but I don't know. Because that also got me thinking about like, you know, if he's trying to become a man again, then like would he still be in the underworld? Like, does a live person work in the dead place? And like, I don't know. Maybe they're just gonna go back to Oz. Maybe he just pop into the underworld every day to make sure, like, once, like, he'll have a 9 to 5. He just goes in and sees how everything's going, then he goes back to Oz at the end of the day, and it's fine. I don't know. I don't know how things are working. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, Brittany, that's what it was. I'm like, it's some kind of like if I hear the name, then I'm usually like, oh, I'm gonna pop my ponytail kind of name, but like it's yeah. Oh, I hate it when people bring fandom stuff up to the creative team. Like, I know that the comment is people were asking Adam and Eddie about it, and they were like, who's Nancy? So like, I hate it when they bring the creators in on fandom stuff. Like, keep it separate. Like, there's like 7 people watching this, but remember, there's a line and don't cross it. Thanks. If you take nothing else away from this, don't cross that line over into creator stuff, because then they just think there's a reason that there's bad stereotypes about stuff. Just don't do it. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with anything. So yeah, I think I don't have anything else to discuss because there's a lot of I don't knows going on. There's things that I'm going to have to think about, and hopefully next week we'll have some answers. I don't think we're going to have like full answers on a lot of the big questions I'm having, but like, you know, what's going to happen with Belle? What's this whole thing with Henry happening? Like, I would like those questions to be explored a little bit further next week. And I think at least the Belle thing is going to be discussed further. It'll be interesting to see, especially like if Henry's writing this stuff down and like finding it later, and like imagine what he's going to find out about stuff. Like, oh, this happened. And then he reads over it and he's like, ugh, I didn't want to know that about my mom. Like, and, you know, insert whichever mom you want to think about. But yeah, that would be, he can find out some weird stuff that way. So, yeah. So I don't know. And my voice is starting to go because I'm not really feeling that great today. So if anybody has anything else to say, please pop in. I like when I see that this freezes and I'm in weird frozen facial expressions. But I'm going to double check and make sure I have everything. Yeah, so I don't have anything else, I think. Just double checking on social media, making sure everything checks out. Okay, if that's it, I think we're done. Hour and a half, good stream, good times, guys. And I'm going to go play Stardew Valley some more because I need to continue to romance the person I'm choosing to romance. So I need to figure out how to make money because I haven't made any money on this stupid farm. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next week, same time, same place. For episode 17, we get to find out about her handsome hero and however that's going to work out. And hopefully there's no more bicycle scenes where we get weird things that indicate grown-up times. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching and participating and having fun times with me. This is so much fun every single week. Thank you so much again, and I will talk to you next week. Okay. Bye-bye. If I can get to the thing open, that would be great, and I can actually stop the broadcast. Okay, for reals. Bye.